G'day, guys. This is Jay. Journey of a White Feather. A chat with Jay. This is the most exciting video I've done. I mean, I've got marbles in my mouth. These are my heroes. Okay. I mean, these are my heroes. Everyone knows I'm the number one Kings of Disco fan, which is former members of Village People. Everyone knows I know YMCA. They go, Jay, they go, yeah, YMCA. I'm actually interviewing the Kings of Disco, former members of Village People, and I'm so excited. As you can see, I'm so excited. My friend Kev, who comes to me with all the shows that we've done in Australia, we've got kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonations, and the YMCA today. I'm so excited.
Thank you,
Nice.
Jay.
Thanks,
Thank you
Jay.
Thank
so
you,
much for
Jay.
coming on. This is like a dream come true. My one of the bands that I've watched for years. I mean, I have to say, guys, it was a Renaissance album that my parents got me. I know it's a bit of a it's one of those albums.
Renaissance,
Oh
huh?
my
That's what
goodness.
hooked you in?
My
Wow.
word.
And
So
you're
we
still a fan?
That
Oh,
was
I
your
was.
introduction to
I
us?
knew I went in and did. Obviously, Alex knows he was there, and Ray did it. And look, still someone like Spend the Night was fantastic. Jungle City, such a great song. But anyway, look, let's get started. Kings of Disco. I mean, can we go a little bit of a background, Bill? We might get you to start.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the Kings of Disco and the way you're going at the moment, and what's actually happened to get you to where you are.
Sure. Well, for years we were the Village People, as you know. Some of these guys from the very, very beginning. I mean, Alex and Ray, both from the '70s, and just really been they really are sort of the spirit of Village People. I know Australia loves Can't Stop the Music, so you've seen them, both of them, in that movie. Eric joined. When did you join, Eric? About 30 years ago.
95, 94. Yeah, 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Yeah. And I started subbing in 2001, and then kind of became when David said, you know what, I'm ready to take it easy. So I got to kind of start touring full time back, I think, around 2012. So it's been a little bit of a journey for some of us, but we've all been a part of the legacy, the magic. One of the best jobs I ever had. And then in I guess it was 2019, we lost the trademark, which was unfortunate for us. But we kept going. We just kept going. There's a new group out there now that calls themselves the Village People, and that's just the way that's the American music industry for you. Always somebody trying, always something going on in the back rooms, and we're not a lot of stuff we don't even know. We just kind of came out of it as Kings of Disco, former members of Village People, and we're still doing it. We're still out there performing. We just had a gig in New Mexico about 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. We've got one coming up in New Jersey on May 8th. So we're still plugging away at it. So here we are, trying to get back out to see you, or down to see you, I guess.
Oh, mate, I tell you, I mean, I saw you the last show. I think we talked off air about 2017. You were down in Palais. You played with Babba, and I was in the second row. Everyone thought I was a Village People plant, or I'll say Kings of Disco. I'll say Kings of Disco for now. Everyone thought it was a plant because I remember all you guys walking past and high five me, and so everyone's going, "You're a plant. You're a plant. You're part of them," But mate, the energy that you guys give out, I mean, it's equal to mine. And it's equal to mine. I thrive coming to one of your shows. It's like, I mean, I love dressing up as the Indian from the Indian and doing the YMCA and getting the crowd involved. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
the energy that you guys have is something special, especially seeing some of the Kings of Disco. So I mean, you haven't lost it. I mean, Eric,
Well, that's
tell
nice.
us tell us a little bit about when you actually first joined this mega group.
Yeah, so I actually joined in 1994 when the group was touring in Europe, doing a summer tour, and I filled in for David Hodo, the original construction worker. And then in 1995, in November of 95, I replaced Glenn, who was just breaking down. He had cancer. He actually went on to live till 2001. So he lived for a few more years, and it was pretty amazing to fill his boots. I got to tell you, they're difficult boots to fill. And it's just, I'll never forget the first gig where I looked to my left. Well, now remember, I was David at that point. So I looked to my left and there was Felipe. I looked to my right and there was Jeff Olson at the time, the cowboy. And I thought, oh my God, I'm in the Village, people. This is crazy.
Awesome.
And since it's become such a part of my life. All these guys are my brothers, so it's kind of weird to remove yourself and look back at that first moment and be like, whoa. But yeah, it's definitely a blessing to have been a part of this group and to continue to be a part of the group.
As I said to you, every time I come to one of your shows, and I mean, you guys are the loveliest people too. I mean, I will say though, I say that they're the most beautiful gentlemen. They're always true. I mean, obviously, being a mega fan, that's what I am, and I'm always excited to meet you guys. But I mean, the way you treat your fans is second to none as far as I'm concerned. So,
Yeah.
Ray, can I pass it to you if you don't mind, if that's okay? Being up front, I just want to ask you about being up front. You're the frontman, obviously, and you see the crowd. I mean, how does the crowd, especially, I mean, being in the front row and seeing your energy, you really engage the crowd, Ray. I mean, you're an amazing frontman, mate, my friend.
It is pretty amazing when you look out and you see nothing but people. And when you tell them, like if you're doing YMCA and I'm showing them how to do it, or in the midst of doing it, and they're all doing exactly what I'm doing, and it's really pretty deep and pretty far out. And sometimes there are people, I mean, as far as you can see, and it's pretty amazing, And but Village people are a special group, and I've been having fun doing it for so long. It's like it's such a strange thing. It's like a part of you.
Yeah.
And we just have a great time and do what we do. That's pretty much what it is. We just go out there and give it up.
It's a big thing. Like when I go as I say, every year, I'm doing the Good Friday appeal, the Royal Children's Hospital appeal, and I've done it for 13 years as a member, as the number one Village People / Kings of Disco fan, and everyone.
We won't tell on you.
Hey, I brag about it, my friend. I'm telling you, everyone knows, mate. Everyone knows I'm the number one fan, and then my friend Kev, he gets a big. Me and him, we just like when the tickets come out on sale for you guys, man. Kev rings me, Jay, they're coming, and mate, we're onto it, man. I mean, it's just an amazing feeling. Alex, can I go over to you, my friend? You were one of the originals. What has it changed for you? Has it, or you just because you really get out there? I can see you're just getting involved in stuff there, and you're really enjoying your time up there. Has it changed from the 70s, 80s, 90s? You've been there from the start, my friend.
Oh yeah, well, we've gotten a chance to see a great deal. I mean, with the people that I've worked with over the years, they've all been energetic, and they've been the type of people that said, when we get ready to hit the stage, we're a unit. We have a good time. It's about that. So we laugh on stage. We've kept each other amused all the time. Sometimes things will happen in the middle of a show, and we'll say, okay, now what do we do? And it's been like that over the years with just about everybody. And I've enjoyed working with all of these gentlemen. This group here that comes together now is special because they still like what they do. And every time we get out there and sing and do whatever we do, it's fun. It's still a fun job after so many years. And I am glad to still have the energy to do it.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Absolutely. Look, I'll tell you, you said about how you look at each other if something goes wrong or something so impromptu goes on stage. I remember the Palais, and I remember Ray said something about, we've got to do this song because it's very popular in Australia. We don't really do it that much. It was the milkshake. And the milk.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That's the only place we do it is in Australia.
We don't do it anywhere else.
It's interesting. I mean, it's something how that movie caught on, and the songs just, we hear people singing, and the audiences that hear Milkshake and all the other songs, they're on their feet singing every word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every word. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. I wanted to tell you, New Year's Eve is a tradition because I get 100 text messages because Can't Stop the Music is a tradition here for New Year's Eve. So they hit the it goes over, Happy New Year, and then Can't Stop the Music comes on. I always get a message. Great performance. How's it going on Channel 9? Because for so long, and I know.
Wow.
Every year, Can't Stop the Music comes on. Bill, can I ask you, my friend, joining Village People? I mean, sorry, I'll say Village People, Kings of Disco, but
I mean, listen, we may not have the same name, but we were the Village People, and we're keeping the magic going, no matter.
Absolutely, you are.
We may not have the same name, but we still put on a great show.
Oh, mate, I've seen it. But what did you think, my friend? When you joined, what was it?
Well, it was 2001, actually. It's interesting because, Eric kind of came in as the sub, right, back when he did. And then when Glenn was no longer able to perform, he became a standing member. So they needed another sub. So they hired me because I don't know, I guess because I look most like David Hodo. I don't know, because there were plenty of guys in the room that could have done it, And I was like, oh, this sounds fun, and I checked it out, and I get the call. You're going to be in Vegas over New Year's, over kind of the week between Christmas and New Year's, going into 2021. This was right after 9/11 too, so it was kind of a crazy time. But then all of a sudden, people were getting back to work, and I was like, we got to do this. I got to do this, and I remember telling my family, though, I've got to cut it short because I got to go do a gig with the Village People. And they're like, well, it's some knockoff group, right? I'm like, no, it's the Village People. They just couldn't. It was actually. I assumed it was like an impersonating. I was going to be impersonating the group. So, but I tell you, it's like to Eric's point. The first time I did YMCA up there with all those people, it was a lot of fun. Well, the whole show. Of course, I was like trying to remember the choreography. You get thrown in. These guys don't like to rehearse. They're like, yeah, good luck.
Okay.
So it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun, and then over time I started picking it up. And then, I covered for years until David, another, tough act to follow. David was great. He was great. He helped me a lot. There were times when I would go on for Jeff Olson, or I even went on for Eric one time. I squeezed my fat butt into his costume. I remember that when your daughter graduated or something. Yeah, and I didn't have any leather, and I was like, Eric, I need some leather. I'm covering you on this trip. And he's like, well, good luck here, man, because Eric's skinny. And I'm thinner now than I was then. I was probably a little, I don't know, a little chunky for his costume. But I squeezed into those leather pants, trying to make it work. But the first gig I ever did with the group was as the construction worker. So I kind of always still felt like that was kind of my role. So when David was ready to kind of say, hey, I'm done, he's still a good friend and supports us and everything, but he just, he was ready to retire. So I was just very lucky, kind of in the right place at the right time. And then it's just been incredible. Then we started working a lot. And then we were working a lot, traveling all over Australia. I got the first time I ever went to Australia was with the Village People.
Oh, mate. And we are missing the look. See, this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. See the energy in this Zoom chat with these guys, man. They still love what they do, and this is why I'm so excited to be a part. Be a part of what I'm doing right now. I wanted to ask you with regards to, I guess moving. Can I ask Ray if you don't mind? Ray, if you don't mind, that I was the elephant in the room. It's not the one we really think of. We're talking about the Renaissance album that I looked at and gone, hang on, Spend the Night. You're looking at Jungle City and all those other songs, Action Man and all that. Is could I ask how long did it last that you were going to take off the costumes and put the Renaissance costumes on? Did it just go right? Hello, that didn't work, and then go back? Because it's an interesting transfer from what you did.
Yeah, it was Jacques' idea to switch up and not do the same costumes all the time. And we started just trying different things like that. As times change, you have to change with it. And it was interesting, too, to put on different outfits and, how do you feel? Because each outfit makes you feel differently and you move slightly differently, too. So it was interesting, but we finally said, I'm not feeling this, So we ditched it and got back to what we felt most comfortable with.
No, absolutely, and you can't beat. I mean, the amount of times you were on Countdown. I think 19 September 1980. I'm a big, massive, obviously 80s Countdown fan. I remember you guys did a performance, and I think it was obviously cut. There was three. There was you did Can't Stop the Music in the Navy into YMCA back in 1980. That was just huge. I mean, and then you basically ran the show
Oh,
that
really?
day with Molly. I think if you can remember that, yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah,
was.
funny. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Love
yeah,
Molly.
yeah. That's
Wow.
great. He was
Yeah,
very supportive too. Yeah.
he was, and like when you did come down, and when you started really, especially in the, I guess, early 2010, or just before that, that's when it really started. The disco concerts really started to heat up here in Australia. We used to have a lot of those group concerts and stuff, and then obviously when you came down and packed the Palais, I mean, it was game on, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we've had such great times in Australia. And there's so many people that I've met there that still correspond and, they give me a shout out from time to time and we talk on the telephone. So it's really a great place. It really reminded me of the way the USA used to be because I remember I could just walk into a club and I sit there, I go to have a drink, and next thing you know, I'm talking to a whole bunch of people. Hey, what's going on? Where are you from? And they're just open like that. They aren't really like that where I'm at in New Jersey, New York. It's
Okay.
really people are a little bit more controlled, and they're not as gregarious as Australians are. So I mean, I met so many people in just clubs and things like that. I had a great time. I just loved it.
Absolutely. Look, it was look. It's funny enough when I go to America, I find that with you guys actually funny enough. I went to Texas and a few others, and I find the Americans such lovely people. To be perfectly honest with you, probably because I open my mouth, they think I'm Steve Irwin. So right, the first thing they'll say, other than thinking I'm either native or Mexican, they think then I open my mouth. Oh, Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Right.
So
That's great. That's
but
great.
I wanted to know a little bit about, especially we'll go back to Ray and Alex. That time in the 70s and 80s, it was crazy. I mean, you guys just took off with YMCA and Macho Man. I mean, Macho Man's huge. I mean, even the pro wrestler Randy Savage started using it in his promos. You either got Randy Savage, the WWE, WWE legend, or Macho Man Village People. I mean, that was huge. How did you cope in that time? Was it you guys were just YMCA was the song, the theme. It was an anthem, and it really you didn't have all you have to do is hit the first bar and everyone, oh, YMCA. What was going through your heads in there, 70s and 80s? I mean, with that phenomenon, and I know, so I'll just extend on that. Probably 2000s. Early,
Yeah.
I mean, when it hit 2000, that's when it really started to take off. The disco started to take off again.
It's just interesting to find with so much of that is that we had to be in so many places at one time, and we were only six gentlemen. I mean, our work schedule was going when you're on the road. Sometimes in the beginning, 11 months out of the year, averaging just a few days a month at home to repack suitcases and get back out there and do TV shows, to do live performances and stuff. And so our energy levels, of course, we were younger then, but our energy levels were so high that we just prepared ourselves all the time to just be ready because it was happening. And you'd go someplace and all of a sudden you'd say, the energy was just so wild. And you get in front of an audience and my goodness, you just take off. So you couldn't do anything but join that and add to that energy that was out there and have fun. And that's and I was with the right guys at the time because they liked what they did.
Oh, that's phenomenal. What about you, Ray? What I mean, coming in probably late 70, I think late 70, 79, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah,
my I think I'm right. If I'm right, I
Right.
got my facts right.
But it was a strange time for me because my mother was very ill at that time, and I remember we were in the middle of doing the movie, and I told them, I said, I'm gonna have to go back home, and they were trying to tell me, no, well, you can't. You got scenes to do, you got this to do, and I told them, I said, either we do it the right way, or I'm just gonna have to leave, and I am going home. That's what I told them, and they finally gave me a weekend. I went home and did what I had to do, and gave up my hugs and all of that kind of stuff, and then 4 or 5 days later, I was back out there, back on doing the grind, and because we were nonstop. I mean, it was like a lot of work, but when you're young, you can do that. You just keep it moving, and we really had a great time, and uh, it was just great. What can I say?
Oh, mate, I see the energy. Eric, I want to put it over to you and Bill for a minute. I've watched a few videos over the years with you. I know I've seen a few of your videos where you're actually teaching the YMCA. I mean, obviously not, but coming in and going, hang on, I'm taking over here. I'm the man. Don't do the monkey. I quote you when I do it. I go, this is directly from Eric the biker's mouth, that you do not do the monkey with the M. So I actually say that, and they're looking at, who's that guy, But mate, it's all about keeping the gimmick, mate. I tell you, it's all about keeping the thing. But I've seen a few times on video. How does that feel for you? Like, I mean, it's a simple question, but I mean, teaching the YMCA, people actually looking and going, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's you would think it's kind of a no-brainer, but it really is kind of specific and paying homage to the dancers from American Bandstand who created the steps. We didn't actually. It was the dancers from the TV show.
We stole it.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
important to get it right. But I have to tell you, it's interesting because we've been all around the world teaching people who don't even speak English how to do the YMCA. And one of the coolest moments, I think, was when we performed, of all places, down under in the Northern Territory. We did a special for Channel 9 back in the late 90s called Village People Go North Down Under for Channel 9.
Saying that.
Right. And we got special permission to go visit the indigenous people in I forget where we were, Jabiru, I forget
Owen Pelly and
Owen Pelly, right. And it was like teaching them was so cool. And then they did like dances for us. They taught us stuff. That was a real learning experience where you're teaching and learning at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's again, I keep going back to this, but it's a blessing to be able to share the disco love, if you will, and teach people around the world how to do the YMCA, for example. And the only time we actually changed our choreography was when we did it with the grounds crew of the New York Yankees, where they do it during the seventh inning stretch. We actually were guests of the New York Yankees. We did their choreography when we performed for them at the National League or the Major League All-Star game back in 2008.
Yeah, because we don't actually do it, and we don't actually do that movement. It's not.
We don't actually do the YMCA in the choreography. Yeah, it's not.
Right.
Because we didn't come with it, and then the dancers on American Bandstand did. So we throw it in at the very end, but it's not inside the song really. It's not, I still say we should change it, but these guys, no, we're not changing it. This choreography has lasted.
We did sort of put it back in. We do it.
Well, maybe once in a while we sneak it in, but Ray doesn't. He's the
singer. Well, Bill, why don't we talk about current day for you at the moment?
Sure.
You've gone through what you've gone through with being part of Village People. As I said, I mean, I just before I ask the question, I remember seeing you at a show at the Royal Melbourne Zoo. I don't know if you remember that one, 2016, I think it was.
I do remember that. I think that was the first time I got to go to Australia.
No.
I covered David.
Was at that show, I think. Jim was there.
Yeah, we both were, but actually I went one other time I covered David when he couldn't do the tour, so that's not true. The second time there, but and then we went back again, I think. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. We did a tour. We did a cruise and met some people. Remember all those fun people? And they were
That
all
was 2016.
they were all from Australia, different parts of Australia. And we would go. And then we would. So we hung out with them. And they were all at that gig. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were all there. They were fun people. They just you meet an Australian, you got a friend for life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We've been there so many times. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I just, yeah. One of my favorite gigs that we did was the footy grand finals.
Oh yeah.
TV show at
Remember that?
Rod Laver.
Yep.
Where that was a lot of fun meeting all the AFL guys, and
Yep.
that was a party, boy.
Oh, I can just imagine AFL, they go crazy. I was going to go back to Bill quickly with regards to something like that when you walk in to another country, you're part of this big band, and say the AFL, it was the AFL pre-grand final show, I remember, and when they come up to you, how do you go with it? I mean, you talk about it? I mean, you're obviously coming in like Eric has.
Yeah.
How do you go and go, okay, does it sort of like, hang on a minute, I'm part of Village People,
Yeah, it's surreal. It can be very surreal. And in some places, the thing is, when you're a lot of times on the street, when you're just hanging out in your regular street clothes, people don't necessarily recognize you. Of course, you put us all together in our costumes. We walk through a crowd or walk through a corridor. They know who you are. It's a whole different thing. I will say the only time I ever got recognized was in Australia.
Oh, really?
I ever got recognized on the street out of costume as a Village person because somebody said, "I'm coming to your show tonight." So I was like, "What? How did you recognize me?" Like, I know who you are. So that felt. I mean, that's of course it feels great, and it's almost surreal when you go into a foreign country, and sometimes you go into a country that they really go nuts. I mean, Australia, they're very big disco fans.
Oh yeah.
And I remember another one that comes to mind. First time we ever went to Russia, actually, the group ever was allowed to go to Russia was I got to be on that tour, and that was crazy. Remember that, guys? Remember we were walking down that corridor? They had security all around us, and
Yes.
that was sometimes it can be a little intimidating, to be honest, occasionally. But you have to accept it as you have to kind of know that people are just sometimes I just got pulled off the stage one time. Remember that when you were shaking hands and somebody pulled you down?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be too much, but I mean, it's I know people mean well, but he was not very happy.
Oh, I don't blame you. I mean, the shows that me and Kev go to, I mean, we've been to like, I can't even count. As I said to you, he's probably looking at me going, "Oh, you're talking to Village People." He's probably sitting at work going, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" But the energy we've got in Australia is amazing. I mean, the Palais, when we go there, I mean, we dress up, we got photos and all that stuff. They think we're part of you guys, they think we're a plant and all that stuff. But what I want to ask you, Bill, we're talking about the Kings of Disco now.
Yeah.
Okay, Kings of Disco. We need you down here. We know how good.
Well, we do a really cool show called When Disco Was King. And it's kind of the first act is the first part of the show is kind of a disco retrospective where we kind of celebrate different artists that we've been fortunate enough to get to work with or tour with or just happen to know. And so we do some fun covers and some fun songs. And then the second act, we sort of get to pay homage to the Village People where we get to, come out and we do the costumes and everything. So it's a little bit of both. But disco had a lot of great songs and a lot of great acts and a lot of great singers. So it just gives us a chance to, kind of spread out a little bit. And in a way, it's given us an opportunity to go a little bit beyond the Village People music, the people, sort of, collection, we've always done, a few covers here and there, but this gives us an opportunity to do even more. And to expand. We do a Bee Gees medley, which is kind of cool.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because we can sing now. We can sing.
So, I've
seen
that's great. I was going to say to Ray, just getting back on to say the Kings of Disco, has that helped you out with regards to some of the songs you've really wanted to sing? There's I don't know, maybe say Satisfaction or Disco Inferno or or whichever ones you might want to sing, or because you've got access now, you can do whatever you want to do. Can you? Is there something that you really want to sort of sing? Because you have obviously one of the best voices, one of the best voices, best frontmen in the world, in my opinion.
Thank you so much. Well, I just like doing what we do, and I think we sing enough different varieties of songs and things like that. But it's just a blast. It's changing because we get to throw different things in. As you said, we get to throw different things that we might want to do, as opposed to things that we have to do. And yeah, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So what do you? Is there any song you've always wanted to sing? Now you can do it. Is there anything like you've gone? Oh, I wouldn't mind singing "Beat It," or wouldn't mind singing. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Oh, I'm trying to think of the Donna Summer song. Hot Stuff or something like that.
Yeah, well, we do actually have a phenomenal female singer who tours with us sometimes, and we do a whole Donna. She does a whole Donna Summer medley and does them all.
Okay.
And we kind of back her up actually and dance behind her and sing with her. So it really gives us an opportunity to swim in different lanes and not feel like it has to be this very thing. We still give them what they want. They still get to hear all the hits. But it's just a little bit more of a retrospective, and it's just a little bit, and her name is Roz Brown. She's wonderful. So she's been touring with us on occasion. Sometimes it's just us doing our thing. But when it's the full show, we bring her along, and
she's great.
She does all the Donna Summer hits. She does a little bit of Gloria Gaynor.
Houston.
Yeah. So
this is where Australia would benefit. Well, not even benefit. I'm telling you, we've done a lot of disco shows in the last, say, 5 years before the pandemic hit. They were the ones. We had the Jackson 5 out here. We had Sister Sledge out here. So we are. You're dead right when we say we are huge into disco. We had Boney M out here last year, and the place where you played, the place where you played the Palais, it was huge. But all I remember is I'm looking and telling my partner, I remember I was over there for Village People, and they came out and the crowd went absolutely bonkers. So, but it was a fantastic thing. So with regards to Kings of Disco, again, you've got the new style, the new setup. Eric, what do you feel is the strength here about it that we can bring it to Australia? And obviously, I know you guys love what you do. What's the key point that you're bringing over here, and we can sort of say, right, these guys are people are going to say that you're former members of Village People. I'm not going to lie about that. That's not the issue. The issue is you are a great group. You've got flow. You're amazing performers and absolute gentlemen that love to perform. Tell us about the Kings of Disco show and bringing it to Australia.
Well, it's sort of just piggybacking on what everyone's been saying. We are the group that performed down there for however many years that was, 30, 40 years, 30 something years. And we still do that same show, but now we do other things too, which is great. So you get that same energy because we still bring it. I will say this, it gets a lot harder, but we still bring the same energy. So you get that, and then you get, even when it is just us, like we'll throw in a Bee Gees medley now and stuff like that. So we've added these layers to our show, which give us a chance to experiment, but you still get that core performance when we were the Village People. Basically, it's that same show, just with a few little extra goodies included. So I think you're getting more bang for your buck, more boogie for your buck, definitely.
And Eric has designed a beautiful video that plays behind us when we perform. That is really sweet, and it's got a real retrospective with, well, you can imagine the collection of photos and video that this group had.
Oh, absolutely.
Put a collage together, especially during YMCA. That's the big one, right?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So there's a multimedia aspect to the show now too, as well. We used to incorporate some, like we would play like the video we did with Kelsey Grammer and Rob Schneider from In the Navy and stuff like that. But now it's more throughout the show, just in the background. It's just it pops more. Let's put it that way. So
There's
definitely,
a yeah. There's a look. You guys had the wow factor. Let's be honest. I mean, you had the energy anyway, and the way. Well, you did. It's as simple as that. I've seen you like countless amount of times and never disappointed. I mean, it's one of those things when you walk into a Village People show. I mean, I walk in there, hyped to the absolute nine. It's unbelievable, especially that zoo one, because we actually took over and did the pre-show for you. I don't know if you know that. Me and
Yeah, I remember that.
you probably saw it on the big screen. There was me and my mate, and I said to my friends, I'm getting a bit edgy here. I have to go and do something. So I'm walking around, suddenly found someone, started dancing, and then we had 150 people doing a conga line. And they're all fired up about Village People. I mean, you got songs like Go West, and you've got like Go West. You've got Macho Man. You got In the Navy. I mean, they're classics. They're classics.
Thank you so much.
Can I go around the room and ask what your biggest thrill was as a performer? It's not just Village People, Kings of Disco. It's you as a performer. I mean, watching you guys perform live and on video. What's your biggest thrill? There was Ray. I'll go over to you, my friend. What was the one that really gave you goosebumps?
Well, when we did with Kelsey Grammer, we did In the Navy on the big ship and all of that, and it was a silly video. And Kelsey Grammer is a really fun guy. He's really comical,
Yeah.
And when that was the thrill. My brother played it for me. Let me see, about 2 weeks ago, and I said, "Oh wow, yeah, I remember that." And it was so much fun to see. And I loved it when Alex rolled his eyes too. He can roll his eyes in a circle like that. All kinds of little crazy little incidents went on in there. It was so much fun, but it was a great video. I enjoyed it.
Fantastic, Alex. What about yourself, man? I mean, you're just a stoic human being on as a performer, man. You just get the job done. You're smiling. They go. Remember the army. They call it the army man. Okay. So down here they call you GI Joe. I have to say. You go, what about GI Joe? And that's an honor to be called that. What about yourself, man? You've been through it all. I mean, the first time I saw you was on the San Francisco video when you were down there with Philippe was there and a few others. And yeah, that's when you started. When I first saw you. Your biggest highlight at the moment, my friend? I mean, obviously, other than every night.
There's so many of them, but I think it's just the fact that your music still reaches so many, even in this day and time, and every audience that we come to, they have a moment where they're in their own world, and then it all comes together with YMCA, and you see people just jumping up and down. Just imagine seeing waves of people just enjoying themselves.
Yep.
And we still appreciate that so much. So that gives me a thrill each time, even to this day with the show that we did in New Mexico and all. It's been a fun, and it's all because of these gentlemen, working with them and all the others that I've had a chance to.
Mate, as I said, I'm sitting here. I can't believe I'm talking to you guys. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you've been very humble to me every time I've come down, and you've been wonderful, stoic gentlemen every time I've come and gone. Look at this guy dressing up as the Indian. You know what I mean. I will say before I ask Eric his favorite one, I got the honor of representing you guys at the Roachwood Wineries. There was a sub. I basically had to sub for the other group, if you get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. Pretty much, they got me on stage. I said, "Look, I'm in the Australian Village People tribute," and they said, "Can you lead YMCA?" And I feel that energy that you guys do, man, because they're bringing other people up, but mate, I led that 10,000 people. I can't, and I was just like, I know what you guys go through every night. I'm thinking, wow, that's YMCA. Everyone's just doing the YMCA, and it was amazing. So just to be honest,
it's an incredible feeling.
It is. And just to honor you guys. You've done such a great job over the 40 years, man. I'm as I said, honored to be here and talking to you. Eric, what about yourself, my friend? What's your I guess hair raising moment in some ways?
Yeah, well, I'll just continue on with the YMCA. the first tour I did with them, again, going back to Europe in '94, and it was one of the bigger shows that we've, I think, ever done. There were like over, I don't know, it was like 200,000 people on a beach in Finland. It was the Midnight Sun Festival. And to that point, it was the biggest crowd that I've ever performed in front of. And when we got to YMCA, the actual chorus part of YMCA, and everyone put their hands up, I stopped singing because I couldn't believe what it looked like to not see the end of people, even people in trees, and everyone moving together. It was like this. It was like a living thing that just went on forever, and I couldn't sing. I just like it was the it took my breath away, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized the power of, you know, music. I mean,
that's right.
Been a musician my whole life. It's I definitely understand what that means, but to actually physically see it manifesting itself was remarkable, and it was something I'll never forget. And of course, it never ceases to amaze me. You know, we've again continued to play to large crowds. Every time, it's at least I keep singing this time, but it's almost like you never really get used to it. It's just kind of one of those things. It just reminds you of how blessed you are as a musician to be a part of something like that. Which, you know, like you said, you know, thank you very much, Jay, for saying that, you know, we're all gentlemen. To me, and I'm sure to everyone who's on this call, my brothers here, you know, we don't take for what we do for granted, you know.
No, I know you don't.
Understand that the group is bigger than any one of us, and you know, we're nothing without our fans. So, you know, why wouldn't you be a gentleman to the people that, you know, that lift you up? It's the circle of a blessed, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, but anyway, that's it. Sorry.
Okay. I'll move on to Bill, and then I want to ask you all about people like me who dress up. But Bill, what's your hair standing moment, my brother?
I mean,
thinking about this.
It's going to be hard to top Eric's and these guys'. But, you know, it's funny enough, kind of more recently, as the Kings of Disco, we played for Andre Rieu.
Wow, really?
You know, and he puts on a huge show in front of you know how many people. It's just a huge square it's in Maastricht, right? Am I right? In
Maastricht, yes.
Yeah. And with a full 100-piece orchestra and full choir behind you, with just, you know, and we were in tuxedos. I mean, we weren't even in, you know, so it was kind of we weren't even village people anymore, you know, but still to be received by a group of people that just went crazy and wanted to, you know, get up and dance with us. And that was a thrill, to be honest, because it was all, you know, everything, we were fully backed by an orchestra, not just a band, like a huge orchestra. So that's thrilling for me too, to have that sort of rush of that, you know, as a musician or as a singer, you know, you can imagine having a huge orchestra behind you like that, and a huge square with, you know, people just, you know, going crazy. That was a lot of fun. But to Eric's point, you know, anytime you do a show, an outdoor show, like maybe a rave, like we did Mexico City, and there were some really big people. What was the name of that? El Norte or something? What was that?
Oh, it was El Norte. That was with the Imagine Dragons, right?
Imagine Dragons were there. That was fun. They wanted to meet us. Like, they were banging on our doors to get pictures with us, and I was
wow,
like,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was kind of mind blowing, to be honest. That's
amazing, gentlemen.
Because talk about gentlemen. They're awesome. They subsequently invited us to their shows and gave us free. You know, they're just great guys. But anyway, you know, just to be kind of feeling like you're in a part of that, something like Eric says, much bigger than you. And I think about those 2 or 3 moments of, oh my God, is this really happening to me? Are we really meeting this person right now? Are we really standing backstage at this, you know, at the Palais Theater and, you know, wherever, I guess in Sydney, or these kinds of, you know, opportunities, which you just don't get in normal life.
No, you don't. And as I said, like, I'll just go with the next thing. People dressing up now. I go now. Me and my mate Kevin Elms. number one Kings of Disco / Village People fans in Australia. I mean, what do you think when someone goes, "Hang on, this guy's full on"? Hang on a minute, I can just imagine like
They usually have nicer costumes than we do. That's when you know they're real. Yeah.
What do you guys think? What? Because I mean, it's a great dress up. I mean, I've done so many parties and stuff like that, and they've gone like even going to parties or hosting them, and then going, you've got to come as the Indian from the village. Everyone knows me as the Indian from the Village People. Everyone knows that. I know YMCA Indian from the Village People, and you rock up and you've got this bloody costume. It looks bloody fantastic. What do you guys think? Is it obviously it's very humbling for you guys?
It's great. It is humbling. It's amazing. He's dressed as me.
Yeah, it's flattering. Again,
Absolutely.
It's and a lot of times
Absolutely.
they're dressed better than we are.
I was going to say that sometimes you know that you have to step your game up.
Exactly. I will say that some of the most fun.
I'd wear that.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's funny you say that, Ray. I have there have been a couple tours where I've had people give me leather or rings or that I still wear. And in Australia, there were 2 shows I remember specifically. It was on the Cher tour when we were touring with Cher, looking out, and you had the Cher impersonators. You had the Village People dress up. It was like Halloween here in the United States, or where it was just like it just blows you. It's so much fun for us to see, because it's like not only is it flattering, but it's also it makes you go, yeah, like we're all related, or we're all in the same group, or we're all together. Dressing up is fun. It's good. It's and
they're real fans when they do it. So
exactly.
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm so sick there going, oh my God, I'm interviewing Village People. I'm fanboying right now. Well, okay, so let's go back to your show, Kings of Disco. We want that to happen. I'll rock up as the Indian when I jump up on stage with you. Do you know that? But
you get us out there, we'll bring you up. Trust me.
Oh no, mate, I'll be honoured. But I'm just thinking, like, does that happen now? And how do you get that across? Because that's going to be a big seller down here in Australia. That people will want to dress up and go, hang on, they were the Village People. It's not a problem. I mean, we know this, but you are now Kings of Disco. So how do we get that? How do we get these people, other than me mouthing off? And me and my mate Kev mouthing off that these guys are the best and you should dress up. How do you get that concept across when you do go to shows?
Well,
I wonder.
Go ahead. Whoever was going.
Alex.
No, I'm still thinking about that because it's just incredible. It's almost as though part of the admission is dress up like one of us, your favorite, whatever that is. And there's been so many of them over the years that it's and one of the things that has also surprised us is the generations. We started out with the 70s, and those were people that were our age. Now they are parents and grandparents and all, and they still want to enjoy with us. And you see them come out. It's a remarkable thing it's still a remarkable thing to see going. So we just hoped wherever we go that if we see someone that is dressed up and taking the time to enjoy the show that way, hey,
and what?
Give you a shout out.
For sure. And sometimes they're not dressed as one of us or one of the characters in Village People. Sometimes you just have on fabulous 70s, bell-bottom pants with sequins, and just dolled up. And they're just in the spirit of the 70s, and it's a whole sort of, which that's great too, people. Or even if they're just wearing an old vintage Village People t-shirt. That always means a lot.
Or fake mustache.
Or they're doing,
massive.
It's flattering. It's just, it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
So how do we get, so back to my question with that, we want that at the Kings of Disco shows. Is that part of the gimmick that we get people to
We
dress up as well? How does it go?
Well, we would definitely, we would come out there. If somebody wanted to host us out there, somebody wanted to bring us out there, we would absolutely come out there. You're talking about a certain location that some of these recent disco people have performed
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, down here,
I
down in Melbourne's the way to go for this one.
You're in Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah, Melbourne. We got got a lot of places. But as I said to you, we want to push the Kings of Disco because that's what you are, but also just honor the village people. That's what I was just saying to you.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. We do have fun '70s costumes that we kind of start the show in, but we graduate. We get there. Don't worry. We kind of make them wait a little for it.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
That's when it kind of erupts. It's not necessarily at the time. And listen, we can do it different ways. It depends on what show we decide to do. But we do kind of, we get to, like we said earlier, we get to do different kind of music. We do break our costumes up a little bit, but we do give them what they want. We do eventually make an appearance as these characters,
absolutely. And it's a finisher. It's a big finisher. But it looks like you're really having fun with the songs. I mean, a lot of people, but as I said, down here, Boney M came down here, Sister Sledge, Jackson 5, mate, and they sold out within days of the tickets going on sale. So there is a massive push for disco here, and there's a lot of people who love that kind of music. It's just that real big split down here. Eric, you want to go? Eric, you can. You want to comment on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we love Australia. I think if you want to be literal about it, it's the actual logistics of getting the 6 of us and our crew down to Australia.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because if you guys are around the corner, we would be there in a second. So it would require us to do a bit of a tour or a couple shows. But we are, even though we are now Kings of Disco, we are former members of Village People, and we can certainly talk about that and all the good stuff. And in fact, a lot of the footage that we have and that we use was from Australia and the shows that we've done down there, from Good Morning Australia to the Footy Show to the special that we done to even clips from the shows we did down there when we were on the Share Tour. My favorite tour was when we're down there with Boy George in 2001. It was the Culture Club Village People.
Yeah, remember that.
And,
that was, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, what's the Australian group? Oh, I'm blanking.
That's right. I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, they were they had a cover here in the United States that was big. Anyway, that'll come to me. But
as Ice House says.
No, they were like an '80s band. They did Funky Town.
Pseudo Echo.
Pseudo Echo. Thank you very much. Pseudo Echo.
They're still going.
I know they are. Yeah, actually, we kind of have a connection with them through Bjorn Again, which is, I think, based in Melbourne too. So.
We work with them.
But Australia, it's like our second home, really. I mean, honestly, we've been there so many times. Like I said, my ex-wife is Australian. I mean, I have literal family in Australia.
But don't take that personally, guys.
Yeah, no. It has nothing to do with the country. Sydney girl, raised in Brizzy, but Melb's is my favorite. I'm going to be honest, but we'd love to get back there.
It's always been crazy. It's always been crazy, especially when you come out and I mean, you did an hour show, especially at the Palais, like the last one in 2017, and that was just, you blew the roof off. Ray, you were on fire that night, my friend. I said to a friend of mine, I said to my friend and Kev, I said, Ray's on fire tonight. Mate, you were really feeling the energy that night, my friend. Do you remember anything from that show?
Well, I just love Australia because I love going to Perth. I had friends there, Sydney, Melbourne. I mean, all over the place. It's just been a wonderful trip every time I went down there. Never had a bad trip. Never.
Oh, mate, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys on here, but also come to Australia. What we'll do, guys, we'll wind it up with regards to disco to chat about quickly talk about the Kings of Disco show. You want to talk a little bit more about what they're going to get? Okay, we'll use this as a promo because you are absolutely, in my book, because I'm biased, I don't care. Wonderful human beings, fantastic performers, and the smiles on my face when I'm going in until the end of the show.
We do we do the Tramps. We do who else do we do? We do the Tramps. We do the Bee Gees. You're gonna get Bee Gees. What's that?
Cool in the Gang.
Oh, Cool in the Gang. Yeah,
Cool in the
absolutely.
Gang. Yep.
We do. Like I said,
We're just gonna give it up. Give it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not
Love it.
traveling hard not to give it up. So that's all I can say.
yeah,
Right.
and, you still get a lot of Village people. You know, it's a varied show. We have a lot. You know, we do some medleys, so we kind of get to do a handful of songs instead of just one-offs.
We would even put in Milkshake, right?
Oh,
We'd have to pull that one. We'd have to dust that one off.
Yeah, we still do Can't Stop.
did you
We
do
do
sex
Can't
on the
Stop
phone?
here.
Hey, Ray,
Yeah, we do
Ray,
Can't
Alex,
Stop
did you
in
use
our
sex on
show
the phone?
here, but Milkshake, no one knows Milkshake up here. They barely know Can't Stop, but yeah.
That's why
Sorry.
we've loved Australia so much, because it's just been one of these things where Can't Stop the Music is something that they do an annual thing about, and we enjoy that so very much. I mean, it's like our show now is a tribute to disco, the disco that of so many artists that are here and not here anymore, and we just enjoy doing that. Just paying them homage.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic show. I mean, I've seen a few videos online, which I will get where I'll put in the promo. But ladies and gentlemen, you'll get the energy of the Kings of Disco. This is the Kings of Disco. Okay, yes, they do Village People, but but what you're going for is the energy on stage and these wonderful human beings who love performing. And as I said, I've seen them personally, 20 odd times. I mean, the crazy Indian who walks in. Oh yeah, we know that guy comes every time. And he's the biker. You know what I mean? And you're gonna get everything now. You're gonna get not just great songs like YMCA, but you're gonna get the Kings of Disco performing the disco classics because we love it down here.
Well, we'd be thrilled to do it.
Absolutely. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Short and sharp, and let's get this promo out. Let's get the Kings of Disco to Australia, and they can rock your socks off. Fill the palais, and mate, finish it with the song that we wanted to finish with. Have you got any final words, Ray? Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. It's been a pleasure to actually speak to you after watching you perform for so long.
Thank you, Jay. I wanted to say thank you to you for just being so energetic, and I'm starting to vibe off your energy. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks very much, mate.
Everything. So but you hype me. You know what I mean? So I appreciate.
Thank you.
You just put anybody in touch with us, Jay, that calls you and wants to book us, because we know you'll be our biggest fan.
We're out there, my friend. Bill, do you want to have some final words, my friend?
Yeah, man, we'd love to do it. We'd love to put a little tour together and come out there, because we miss you guys. So we're looking forward.
Thank you for taking a moment with us.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Alex.
Jay, thank you for taking a moment with us. That's what we appreciate so very much.
Absolutely. I mean, and Eric, have you got some words, my friend?
Just thank you, Jay. Really, it's just been an honor to talk to someone who's so happy to talk to us. It's always great. But also Australia. I mean, we love Australia. We miss it. It's been I think the last time we were down there was 2017.
17 it was, yeah. It was, yeah.
For Bjorn again. But yeah, we want to get back there. So we'll be there.
Oh, mate, as I said, guys, we'll put some videos up of the Kings of Disco show. I mean, as I said to you, 2017 is the last time they came here, and they blew the house up. It was unbelievable, the energy in that. Bjorn again came on, and when Village People came on, at the time, Village People, mate, you could just see the power that was in front row. I mean, they all high-fived me, and they all thought, but mate, I'm just excited to say, let's get these Kings of Disco back. And Bill, thanks so much for everything, for setting this up, my friend. And Leslie, Ray, your partner was wonderful. I'll start promoting this. Let's get disco back to Australia and get the Kings of Disco down here. And mate, I'd be honoured if I could. I'm gonna say it. I'd love to come up and do YMCA with you and join you.
Oh yeah, you get us down there, we'll bring you up.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a chat with Jay with the Kings of Disco, former members of Village People. Been very grateful to have them on the show. And I always finish off with my hero, Bret the Hitman Hart. He's a wrestler, and he always says, be the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. And that's what these guys are. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode on Chat with Jay. Thanks so much.